The game is underway at the Lusail Stadium in Doha, and a quick start to the game already sees the first free kick. Brighton's Alexis McAllister being caught in the middle of the park there by Martin de Roon of the Netherlands. What an evening we have in store. Two World Cup heavyweights facing off against each other in the World Cup quarter-finals. Netherlands against Argentina. Two great sides, of course, down the years. Argentina in the World Cup a couple of times. The Netherlands yet to do so, which is a bit of a surprise, given the names that roll off the tongue of the Orangi sides down the years. The likes of Cruyff and Bergkamp, of course. And Bergkamp is a man that has had a hand in this fixture before. Quarter-finals many moons ago. He scored a fantastic goal, one of the iconic World Cup goals, of course, against Argentina, which led to an Orangi 2-1 victory on that day. Of course, in the 1978 World Cup final, it was Argentina who were the winning side 20 years prior to that Bergkamp goal. Of course, that was in Argentina. Two very different sides tonight coming into this one in some very good form following the early hiccup, of course, in this tournament from Argentina. The first game of the tournament seeing them lose 2-1 to Saudi Arabia. Since then, they've got back on track to face off tonight against Louis van Gaal's side for a place in the semi-finals, to face a Croatia side who beat Brazil earlier on. Neymar's goal at the end of the first half of extra time was equalled out later on by Petkovic. The Croatians won on penalties. Here come Argentina down the left-hand side. Then a ball from Acuna comes into the box, but it's cleared away by the Netherlands. And it's a good chance as O.A.T has the ball at the back to run through the two-team lineups for you. For the Netherlands then, and Louis van Gaal, only one change for his side tonight. It's, of course, Noppert between the sticks. He's played every game of this World Cup, despite the first game of the competition against Senegal being his debut for Louis van Gaal's side. Back five have Dumfries, Timber, Van Dijk, Ake and Daley Blind. Midfield is de Roon and de Jong, with Cody Gakpo dropping into the 10 as Steven Bergwijn comes in for Davy Klaassen up top alongside Memphis Depay. As for Argentina, one change for them as well, which sees Lisandro Martinez of Manchester United come into the side for Alejandro Gomez. That means they've got three centre-halves on the field, and it looks as though they're setting up in a back five to match that formation of the Netherlands. Martinez, the goalkeeper, back five of Molina, Romero, Otamendi, Martinez and Acuna, De Paul, McAllister and Enzo Fernandez, the youngster, in the middle of the park with, of course, Leo Messi up top alongside Manchester City's Julian Alvarez. He, of course, has scored in both of Argentina's last two games after coming in up top for Martinez. Just been a knock in the middle of the park, 3.5 minutes into this game. Myself, Matt Guy and Tom Hill bringing you commentary of this one. Cody Gakpo, the man in form for Holland, just having a knock to the head against Enzo Fernandez. Two youngsters, two bright shining lights in these two sides. Just an innocuous bump into each other, completely accidental, just bumped shoulders and their heads recoiled towards each other. Just a knock. They will both be okay to continue. Enzo Fernandez then into the starting lineup for a second game in a row for Argentina. 21 years of age, has really impressed in this side, as has Cody Gakpo, of course. He's got 3 goals this tournament already, one in each group game. Didn't find the net last time out against the USA. He wasn't needed to. They were comfortable in that game, weren't they, despite the fact that America were impressive. But here come Argentina quickly on the break, winning the ball back. Messi to the right hand side, cross to come in from the right. It's deflected away by Ake, only out to another Argentina man. It's blocked by his own teammate there, Julian Alvarez, the man blocking Rodrigo de Paul's half volley from the edge of the box, and that was cannoning towards Andries Noppert's goal. But in the end, Orangi get away a little bit fortunate. The first time we've seen the magician, the Argentine captain, Leo Messi on the ball. Albicetes just getting into the game. As Depay looks to turn one around the corner. He's caught late there by Nicolas Otamendi. We know he's a strong defender, likes a strong challenge, and has been adjudged to have been too strong that time by our referee today, Antonio Miguel Mateo Lajos, of course, of Spain. He and his VAR official of Spain tonight. He's a very experienced referee. We've seen him a lot around Europe, of course, especially in the Champions League. And he will look to bring those expertise into the final stages of this competition. 5.5 minutes gone. Virgil van Dijk looks to spray one out to the right-hand side. Not his most accurate effort on that occasion. Irangi's skipper. And it will be ball in hand for Marcos Acuna down the left-hand side. The 31-year-old Sevilla man can take the throw in and goes long, rather aimlessly as well. Straight back to Van Dijk, heads it out to the right toward Dumfries, cut out by Argentina, hooked back by Acuna. And there is the diminutive defender in Lisandro Martinez alongside Nicolas Otamendi, who's not the tallest either. But they are so combative, aren't they? They want the ball more than anybody. And that's why they've been impressive in this competition, only conceding 2 goals so far this campaign. But that is equal to the Netherlands' record in defence, as Noppert half volleys one out from his own box. But they've got the taller men in Ake, Van Dijk and Timber at the back, who start their 4th game in a row together. This time it's Messi winning a header against Ake as the ball cannons away and comes back to Andries Noppert inside his own 18-yard box, with ball at feet. The Lusail Stadium, of course, tonight can host up to 88,000 fans. Will be the stadium for the final come the 18th. And, it's a stadium that is full of white and blue shirts all around, just little pockets of orange shirts in support of this Netherlands side. Within the opening 7 minutes of this game, just the one shot to note that was blocked by an Argentina man against his own teammate in Rodrigo de Paul, who shot from the edge of the box. It's been a start to the game which has been all about figuring out who's who and where each player is playing, but it certainly looks as though it's 2 back fives in this game. And with Croatia on the horizons, Tom, this certainly is fitting up to the billing.
Yeah, it's getting now to the juicy bit of the World Cup, isn't it? This is where you can talk up any game, get excited, Matt, for any fixture, and Croatia doing what they did was weirdly not a surprise. You know, Brazil, big back pass out from the back there from Noppert to just about miss the Argentina player. That would have been a heart-in-mouth moment. But yeah, Croatia through, they'll be horrible to play against, but you know, we're going to go cliches and professionalism. These two cannot worry about anything but each other. I think this has got the makings of being the tie of the competition so far in terms of calibre, performance levels, tactics. I hope it's a thriller. I hope we get plenty of goals, but you know, you wouldn't begrudge them if they cancel each other out, and it's quite a low scorer, because this is the World Cup. They are 3 games away from glory. Absolutely,
it's campaigns that are built on defensive success, really, aren't they, in the World Cups? We've seen Louis van Gaal set up his side many a time and could equal Luis Felipe Scolari's managerial record of 12 unbeaten in normal time. That, of course, excludes the penalties loss against tonight's opponents in Argentina. He's certainly a manager that has a lot of experience. He's fighting back from personal illnesses to bring his side towards this game in every confidence, and boy will they have confidence. Around about 9 minutes gone in this game, still goalless in this tie at the Lusail Stadium. And, it's been a game that's been pretty even in terms of possession, neither side cutting either one open, and that's perhaps due to the defensive lineups as well. Both teams playing 3 at the back, and it's that one change from Argentina, isn't it, in bringing Martinez back into the side in trying to make that equal match.
Yeah, I'm just trying, obviously, if I could try and describe the pitch to our listeners. You had an example there where there were 2 orange shirts in midfield and then 7 across the back line.
Yep.
Man marking or marking the Argentina players that have come forward. So the space between the 2 respective sets of back 5 was so vast. And you know, it's a real tactical battle. We're going to see quite a lot of space in the middle. I mean, Messi's playing as an 8 at the minute. That can change at any instant when he can be bothered. You know, little fits and starts, especially for the likes of De Paul, who will try and quite simply carry this team.
Absolutely, and a cross from the right-hand side from Molina is headed away by Van Dijk, back to Messi on the edge of the box, opens it up on the left-hand side. Acuna with the first-time cross over everybody and fizzes it right through the box, out for a throw-in on the other side. It just breaks into life, doesn't it, when Messi gets on the ball? It speeds up, but Acuña's got to do better with his ball.
He does. All he's done there, Matt, is he's just put it back into the box. It's a box ticking cross, is it? I've done my job, I've put it back in the area. In fairness to him, it wasn't a million miles away from the man coming in, but it was the pace and the venom behind it. You know, they'd have had to have been in the exact position he needed to meet it. But, I mean, again, you know, you got into a good area. I've been quite impressed by Acuña in the games I've seen Argentina play. You know, he's very forward-thinking when he can get forward. So far, I expected a relatively slow start, and the game will warm up. We could do with it warming up. Cold in this country at the moment, and yeah, it's just a great time. You look at the teams. You've got Messi, who is still an incredible player despite potentially his last World Cup, and then you've got maybe the start of a new era. Alvarez, you've got someone in like Gakpo, you've got Dumfries, who's been about for a while as well. So much ability out there for game winners across the entire pitch. Van Dijk included, of course. You know, who wants to say a set piece once that was.
Yeah, absolutely. There's certainly a good balance of experience and youth across the two sides, isn't there? But as you said, professionalism comes into it in these early stages of these games. Neither side will want to throw the tie away before it's really got into life. And the Argentina fans were highly celebratory pre-kick-off, of course, seeing that Brazil had been knocked out. But that won't be spared, will it, if they don't get through this game tonight? But they're on their feet inside the Lusail Stadium, bouncing around, cheering their team on. They're certainly the more dominant force, aren't they, in terms of the fan setup against the Dutch tonight, as Ake looks to head one out from the back. It eventually falls to Messi on halfway, holding off his man, and he does well, doesn't he? Leo Messi wins a free kick against, it was Timber there, who'd pushed all the way up into midfield. And once again, Argentina on the ball in and around halfway. Just a quick chop back to the right-hand side by Enzo Fernandez, another youngster in this side. Out to the right, he goes down the right flank, cut back by Molina into the middle of the park. That's rather aimless, and it's won back by the Netherlands, and Cody Gakpo battling all the way, and eventually it squirms away. It's slow and balanced tempo when the ball is at the back, but as soon as it goes into the middle, there's that cramp of space, isn't there? And everyone's on top of each other.
Out wide, you look at players here in possession. We have the number 26, Molina, and he had a couple of touches, could look up, have a look around and go for it. The minute he played it inside, it was nearly intercepted, and that's the case here. They've got the ball in the box and a chance to cross that. Yeah, good ball down the left-hand side from Acuña. The ball is switched to the right now, into De Paul, looking for a man in the middle. Cross comes in the end. That one's too telegraphed and just goes straight into the hands of Andries Noppert, but it was a good move down the left-hand side. Alexis McAllister getting his way forward for the first time in this game as Frankie de Jong chases forward. Foul will be pulled back in the end by our referee, Antonio Mateo Lajos, as I think the pullback on Frankie de Jong has been given in the end. He controlled the ball inside. It was then won by Steven Bergwijn, and then a good tackle from Romero, but I think the foul will have been pulled back for the initial challenge, or the initial pullback, should I say, and that's what our Spanish referee is perhaps telling Sergio Romero, Christian Romero, just there, telling him to just calm down in this game. Tempers flaring for a moment. You would expect that. World Cup quarter-finals, the business end of the competition, and Frankie de Jong is the man on the ball here from this free kick. Just goes short, as you would expect, alongside his very experienced counterpart in Martin de Roon in the centre of the field. Daley Blind, of course, tucking in on that left-hand side alongside Nathan Ake. Dumfries perhaps a little bit more free to go down that right flank, but for the moment they can't get the ball to him. Van Dijk goes short to Nathan Ake. Possession very equal so far, as that stat pops up on our screen, as Romero will have to turn one back to his goalkeeper. Does just that, but it's a chess match, isn't it, Tom? Yeah, it really is. It's a good way of describing it, actually, because when one makes a mistake, the other tries to punish, and then it's immediately neutralised. And yeah, this is what it should be about. A quarter-final at a World Cup should not be a team that dominates the other. It should be relatively close. And the first one was, the second one likely to be his. Pattern should continue. You might get it when it's a moment of magic. Neymar thought he'd done it earlier. That was a brilliant goal, but it could also be a lapse in concentration. The way these two have been playing, it's a case of just cancelling each other out. There's very few errors. It's a misplaced pass here or there. It's nothing to get too excited about. Again, a challenging midfield by Netherlands, 15 minutes gone. Just when you thought Argentina really come forward and press, they've lost the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. They won the ball back and then lost it just as quickly as they did so, as here comes Timber down the middle, good ball inside to Gakpo. He then finds Bergwijn, opens up the play to the left-hand side. Here's Depay, looking for an overlapping run from Blind, goes on his left foot, curls it towards the far post to Dumfries, looks to cut one back to the far post, in comes Blind, nudge in the back, perhaps nothing given from the referee, played out from the back on the floor by Argentina. That's risky, but it's paid off for now, as Enzo Fernandez finds it, then receives it back from Rodrigo de Paul, can't keep it under pressure, under possession, should I say. But there's the Netherlands going with that ball to the far post in Dumfries, a very commanding figure at that far post, isn't he?
I think he did the right thing by going for the volley. He could have headed it, but with the volley, he could cushion it, he could direct the power. It's just such a difficult pass, isn't it? He's just tried to loop it, put it back in an area that would cause problems in a way it did. But that really had to be low and hard for the players that were so close to him. Sadly, it wasn't an easy push. It wasn't a proper push at the back. It was a little shoulder into the back. He defended it perfectly. Had the arms come up. Yes, we're a different situation.
Yeah, fullback there for the Netherlands. You were hoping that this game would burst into life. 4 World Cup games between the two crackers. 1978 final, 1998 quarter-final. Of course, it saw that Bergkamp goal. And then the 2 following in the groups in 2006 and the semi-final in 2014, both goalless. So hopefully we don't see a repeat of those 2 ties, although they were full of drama. A sliding challenge comes in there from Sandro Martinez, as combative as ever, just playing the ball away from Frankie de Jong, and out it goes on the near side for a throw-in. Just seeing in the end Martinez from a reverse angle there. Very strong challenges between the 2. That's exactly what you want to see at this stage of a competition, isn't it?
I mean, 2 players in the line as well. Ball there to the one, just go at it, go at each other fairly as well. They're very competitive. They're not giving an inch away, these 2 teams. Any misplaced touch immediately counts and swallowed the pump. Same for a pass. You'd like to see a bit more goal mouth action, but it hasn't been a great game in terms of technically. Have we seen anyone like masterclass? No, but I think we've been an eye-catching watch, yes.
Great ball down the right-hand side then from Timber, just feeding one in behind. The first real searching ball we've seen from the Netherlands, isn't it? In towards Steven Bergwijn down that right-hand side, ball slightly overhit. Timber drifting into that right-back position, allowing Dumfries to almost take a right wing position. That's pushing Acuna back and meaning that Alvarez has to chase back, and it's that man, the Manchester City striker, who receives the ball now. Pressure from De Roon, foot comes in. Great work from the Atalanta man, and Frankie de Jong in the end could just slow things down in midfield, look over his shoulder and decide not really to do anything, just to take the sting out of the game. But it's slow possession that almost burst into life perfectly there from the Netherlands, just a slightly overhit pass.
Yeah, like I say, it's fine margins, isn't it? If that was a little bit shorter, he's got a chance on goal. The keeper's come out. I think the time he's run to perfection. So picked it up. That's unnecessary. That was a chance for Aki to play it in behind to Gakpo. He didn't do it, but Gakpo had the beating of Romero for me with the speed. So it's a case of Aki's looked up then and gone, I'm not fully confident. Sometimes you've got to let that pass go and go, right, I believe in myself, look where I am on the pitch. If this pass is wrong, it's going to be a goal kick at worst. Put it in that area, let Gakpo chase it down, let him do something.
Yeah, it's those risks that are taken by the players that, of course, open the game up, isn't it? As Dumfries takes a risk now, flicks it down the right-hand side, asking for it back from Bergwijn in the end. Free kick goes against Dumfries for being a little bit too physical, I think there, says our referee Lajos, against Acuna. Acuna puts his arm across the shoulder as well, and just having a look as one man comes off the Argentina bench to have a word with the referee, and it's the ever experienced and ever willing to have a word, Angel Di Maria. Of course, in the games running up to this, the days running up to this game, said that Louis van Gaal was the worst manager of his career, and he answered back saying, well, I've got Memphis Depay alongside me, who played in the same team as you, and he's more than happy.
Yeah, I mean Di Maria's had an incredible career. He's played for some fantastic managers. He's entitled to his opinion, but Van Gaal's had a great career as well. I think all not necessary to try and poke the fire before the game. Should they go out and Di Maria does nothing, you've given them a bit of momentum and motivation that didn't actually need it. But yeah, I mean, he's an interesting character. But you can't say he's not worked effectively wherever he's been.
Yeah, absolutely. He's not in the starting lineup for Argentina at the moment, though. Argentina opting for just the 2 forwards tonight in Julian Alvarez and Leo Messi, the 2 in-form forwards, you would have to say, for Argentina. Messi with the 3 goals and Alvarez with the 2 in the last 2 games. Here is Ake once again. This time he does take the risk over the top to Depay down the left-hand side. Couple of men in the box. Turns back for the moment. He's got a man right on his shirt, hugging him as he looks to turn quickly. Foot comes in from Otamendi. Good stand-up defending.
Yeah, it was. He stuck to his ground, didn't panic. Always had one eye on the ball. Always had one eye on the ball, one eye on the man to know where he was going. But yeah, good play from Depay. He just really thought he'd done nothing. He managed to get the set piece out.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a good run off the shoulder into that left-hand channel, and now the Netherlands do have their first corner of the game and a chance for Virgil van Dijk and co to come up from the back. It's Cody Gakpo over the set piece. He's one of the taller men, but he's taking it. Quick 1-2. Looks to whip it in towards the front post. Good header away from Enzo Fernandez. Won back by Frankie de Jong. Battle over on the far side. Shoulders going. Gakpo flicks the ball away. It's taken down by Depay. Flicked on by Ake. Frantic stuff on the far right-hand side of the field. Then flicked down the line, I think, by Molina. He will receive it back, will he? No, not quite. As Frankie de Jong does enough to come out and play that one into the stands over on the far side. It was an interesting set piece that really didn't have the ball to beat the first man.
No, it wasn't, and disappointing. Considering waiting a while for it, you want something to come from at least put pressure on, but Argentina justifying the attack here. Alvarez trying to pull the ball back, and then not makes it as it clears for a certain. So that's a great battle from those 2 defence. Really a good player, Alvarez. He's got a bright future. He's fast and he's elusive. Big night for them to stop him. Here is elusive Messi.
Yeah, Messi on the edge of the box, looks to curl one towards goal. Grimace on his face. He knows he should have done better. It's gone over the bar, top left-hand corner, well over.
Yeah, Virgil van Dijk is watching him all the way. He's almost watching his eyes rather than the ball. Van Dijk is looking constantly at where Messi's looking, but for a long time Messi's eyes were firmly focused on the ball. He has just had to burst the lever, hasn't he? Off it. Might almost pop it with the effort because he hits it with so much power, and yet he does the hard bit easy, which is the trick really, which has always been easy to do.
Yeah, he almost looked down towards the turf, didn't he, in disgust at the way that the ball flew off his boot there. Not his finest. He's a man that we can easily eulogise about, but I suppose we'll wait for him to do some magic like he did in the game against Mexico, of course, scoring that one from outside the box. He's chasing the ball now against de Jong, but the Dutchman is able to flick that one away towards his goalkeeper, Noppert. And we have had a quarter of the game gone. It's Netherlands 0, Argentina 0, and it's Tom to lead us through to half-time.
Yeah, cheers, Matt. Hopefully get a bit more action than you did. Those surveys seem to really midfield, and Nagy now takes it over halfway with 2 touches up to Depay. Straight towards Bergwijn. Has possession now. His fist forward. He was looking for Dumfries on the arm to appreciate the idea, but the pass was well overhit and out of play in midfield. So 23 goal pot the Italian ball to 2 giants of the footballing world. Got their own footballing culture, what they brought to the modern game, to the history of the game, of course, with the style of the Dutch. Maradona era for Argentina. Short by Argentina. Looking for a return pass to Alvarez, who drops so deep he was left wing back for the ball. He has to give the ball up here now. He's the Rooney midfield. Turns forward, goes straight through the heart of the Argentina midfield, goes past the referee with the pass, works the 1-2 with Depay, who now gets it back. Depay turn towards Gakpo, works the 1-2, running forward here, shots Bergwijn, goes for goal. And Bergwijn, in fact, and Depay were the 2 that combined. They worked in such close quarters, they were almost in tandem, linked by arms, Matt, with how close they were to each other. Chest down, he went for goal, he dragged it very, very far wide in there, but the build-up was great.
Yeah, absolutely. It was that aggressive defensive style, wasn't it, from Argentina as well. Romero stepping in on the edge of the box to try and win it back and didn't do so. It was a great flick around the corner, wasn't it? But it was a rash shot in the end.
I must admit, I was very shocked how delayed Bergwijn's disappointment was there. Almost like he thought that he had a potential to go in while it was going towards the corner. I don't know whether he expected to get a touch off a Netherlands player, but just showing the replay from behind the goal, and while everyone else on the pitch knows that's gone wide, he's still looking at the ball to say, come on, you're going to go in there. But yeah, he was nowhere near. Finishing's not his strong point. I mean, he just scores some crackers when he does score, but consistency, you're looking at Depay, you're looking at Gakpo, and everyone's going to have a number of shots.
Yeah, he's a man, Bergwijn, isn't he, that's better for his nation than he perhaps is with his club team, Tottenham. He doesn't often get enough game time, you would suggest, for Spurs and Antonio Conte, but yeah, that wasn't one of his finest efforts. I mean, I've been ever so impressed with Gakpo this tournament, of course, with those 3 goals he's been touted for a big move, hasn't he, over the last number of weeks since the tournament kicked off, really. Memphis Depay, he's had his spell at Manchester United in the past, and you wonder whether he'll go to another massive European nation that might win the top prize in the Champions League, but he might not want to. He might focus on international success, and he might get it today.
It's interesting. Gets the ball. Alvarez gets there first. In the attack, but Hakimi plays it off Alvarez, who was too quick for his own good. Hakimi was trying to go backwards to a teammate. It was Netherlands, no Argentina, no. The Argentinian fans start a chant, one Netherlands fan word as the clappers together to try and generate some atmosphere. And you always know when Orange are playing at the World Cup or Euros, because the sea of fans will be impossible to miss. In one section of the crowd, the Argentinians, of course, in their famous colours. But I've yet to see a tie that's lit up the World Cup. It's a high boot, perhaps Dumfries referee with advantages, but McAllister gets it now. He's fouled from behind. Referee must think he's going to give the first incident for the high boot. McAllister looks back. Gakpo that will be about to be given a warning as his shirt is stuck to due to the sweat. In fact, it's Timber that did the high boot. I think Gakpo's looking to come back. It's a good job Lisandro Martinez isn't as tall as perhaps the defenders. I don't think he had much of his hair left.
No, it's one of those, isn't it? It's a grey area, is the high boot rule. Nobody knows whether it should be a foul or shouldn't it. If you put your foot high and you win the ball well before the defender gets there, then it's fine, isn't it? But when it's those close ones and you're not quite there and it's a little bit stepping over that mark of dangerous, then it's right to be penalised. There was one in the Brazil game that was penalised as well. It's a fine line, of course, and players are often aggrieved when it goes against them, but you've got to think of the other player's safety.
Yeah, you do, as the ball is fired forward. A free kick for offside. Argentina punished. Referee lets them take it. As it goes inside to Van Dijk, the skipper of the Netherlands. Out wide it goes to Nathan Ake. Comes forward, drops the shoulder, and now carries it. Looks over the top towards Gakpo, who's coming forward and nudging the back from Gakpo. He can make it even more obvious as he dumps Otamendi to the deck and just picks him up. And I know he's going to try and get a physical edge. But Otamendi, I think the actual attempt on the arm isn't that strong. I think he might have tripped him by accident eventually. It looked like he pushed him at first, but looking at the replay, Gakpo's arm is up, but his eyes are actually firmly focused.
Yeah, and I think Otamendi almost comes blindsided, doesn't he, and gets in the right position, and that's why he wins the free kick in the end. It's interesting, isn't it, looking at Gakpo. He towers above Otamendi and Lisandro Martinez.
Yeah, I mean, if he can get into the box, it is interesting that on the team sheet he's listed as the number 10, i.e. position, but when it comes to long balls forward, Bergwijn and Depay drop, he goes in, so it's like a pre-planned routine. We would like to get him a little further. Leeds United trying to sign him somewhere. Other clubs trying to sign Southampton, I think we're interested. They both missed the boat. I think Louis van Gaal to go Gakpo, stay where you are. You've got more chance of playing for the World Cup team, which I think you decide for Leeds every week, it's like Southampton every week, so it's interesting. He chose to listen, and I think he's on the verge of a mega move instead, so absolutely Van Gaal knew all about that. But it's Manchester United that win that race, we will soon find out. De Jong goes back to Van Dijk, 28 and a half minutes more. Argentina have very little possession since they took over the commentary. They've done a little with the ball as well, as the ball's forward towards Bergwijn, who sprints and turns on the edge of the box and flicks it wide towards Dumfries, and now it's into Gakpo, who sets off on a little dribble, floats across in. Here comes Depay, it's headed away at the far post by Romero. De Jong gets it and goes with the up and under towards Van Dijk, who's in his own centre circle, and they start again. But maybe start to see a changing of the tide here, getting one team going.
Yeah, Netherlands just hanging on to it a little bit better, aren't they? And playing down the right-hand side. I just wonder, when they cross on the right-hand side, it often goes far post, and as it's the tallest defender, Romero. Blint's not getting as far forward on the left, but if his cross came in, then Gakpo could hang on the smaller men in Otamendi and Martinez.
Yeah, maybe a different approach. As here is the ball. Argentina trying to punish the Netherlands for a ball pass midfield. McAllister's touch is heavy, so momentum stops immediately. McAllister goes sideways into the midfield. That was Fernandez playing it forward. To do a little trick where he flips the legs around the ball, but the ball never moved. Here is Otamendi through the heart of the defence. It's McAllister a 1-2. So nosebleed tells you for Nicolas Otamendi as he goes the furthest player forward for a split second. Now he makes his way back to centre half. Argentina get it to right wing back Romero. Just getting forward as a second supporting runner. Almost an inverted fullback, in fact, he gets it. far forward. He's the furthest advance for Argentina, but still, they are 0-0 with the Netherlands. They are doing very little in possession. Now here is Paul, who's trying to look for a way through. Kicks into Otamendi again. No real pressure from the Netherlands, but it now starts as they reach into the Netherlands half, and De Roon flies in for the challenge. Nearly goes out of play, and it does. In fact, the Netherlands have won a throw. So let's set in traps, waiting for Argentina to get within territory, and then just as that passes play, they're in. They've won the ball back.
Yeah, it's disciplined, isn't it? It's really disciplined, not chasing like headless chickens up top, just allowing the ball to come into that midfield area and snapping in with a quick challenge and winning a throw-in. In fact, the Argentina manager Lionel Scaloni may have picked up a yellow. Maybe one of his assistants. Will have to wait confirmation, but the referee has branded the yellow card.
Yeah, I mean, he's not. Rafael House has never been sympathetic in all the years of watching La Liga. He does have a nonsense approach. He's told us to backtrack with non-existent. He's had Di Maria say something to him. I think one of the assistants has now said something as well. Scaloni was trying to play peacemaker, but 31 minutes gone, still goal. This is Argentina getting possession here with Romero. It's prodded forward into Fernandez, and Fernandez is going to try and carry this, but De Jong's always got the better advantage, but somehow he gets it away. Fernandez out wide to Molina as he goes forward. It's a good idea to try and get it behind Van Dijk. Pounds the ball in midfield by De Paul. De Paul carrying it, switches it inside to Alvarez. Alvarez tries to then turn it forward to McAllister. Messi was behind. Fine margins again as his Netherlands turns midfield. De Paul goes forward once more, deflected by Aki. Here is Messi. Messi sideways to McAllister. No real width for Argentina, so they're always looking to come back inside. McAllister, well, they do have two advanced wing backs. They're so far forward that they're quite motionless. They're stood still. There's nobody making an overlapping run. In midfield is Fernandez. He wants to play it forward, but sideways instead is the target to Romero. To De Paul. Paul, the low socks on Stanton.
Yeah, I've been indifferent about De Paul this tournament, but I've been impressed in that last 5-minute spell. It wasn't them orchestrating an attack, was it? It was a long ball forward that he then pounced on the clearance and then fed it forward. He's looking bright in midfield. He's looking like he's trying to create every opportunity. As you said, though, they're just too static on the flanks. They're just not moving enough to create that opportunity.
Some of the attack given away by Gakpo. He was trying to find Dovic. Cunha goes inside to McAllister. McAllister strides forward, tempo just lifting as De Paul cuts the ball through the middle of the Netherlands wide defence. Outside it goes to Molina. McAllister. De Paul's coming. De Paul goes for goal low and hard. It's more of a territory sort of effort. He's just trying to guide it. And I think he's just said to McAllister, you've got to play that to my right foot. The way McAllister plays it, that's not the greatest effort for him to tee it up. And the first thing De Paul did was point at McAllister, almost as to say, like, I don't know if he wanted to try and play another 1-2. He has just tried to steer it forward, hasn't he? And it is Walter Samuel, the defender, who was known for his, let's say, opinions and gestures and passion on the pitch. Who's got a card? Like, nice to see he's never changed it.
No, a leopard never changes its spots, does it? But yeah, no, it's good work from Argentina, wasn't it, in the midfield once again. De Paul, this time Molina, unlike his opposite counterparty in Acuna, just played the ball correctly to a man. And as you say, it was good work, but it was frustrating in that point of view because De Paul and McAllister not quite on the same wavelength. I think he may have also been saying, there's a defender there. I'm never going to be able to have a proper set shot at goal. Try something else instead.
Certainly goes to De Paul, dispossessed by Blin. Gets into Depay. Depay fires it forward. He was looking behind. Bergwijn doesn't get there. Argentina didn't give it away. And instead, Molina picks it up inside the Netherlands half. He sets off on a run. He's tall, he's rangy, he turns back to Messi. Messi picks it up and will drive forward himself and drop the shoulder. Aki falls for it. Ball forward, Molina's through on goal. Molina prods it into the back of the net. And Lionel Messi cuts the ball through the heart of the Netherlands defence. And Molina scores a rare goal. But who else to create it? Lionel Messi with the ball of his dreams. What a ball that is. How on earth can you ask for a better pass as a maraudering fullback? Low, hard, he looks visibly emotional, Molina, as he's opened the scoring. It's Netherlands 0, Argentina 1.
Molina with his first Argentina goal as well, and boy oh boy, what a setup it was from Leo Messi. He didn't touch the ball for about half a minute, he just dropped the shoulder 5 times, and Ake just gave him the space. He feeds it through beautifully, doesn't he? It's a great run for Molina as well, but what a pass that is, through the legs of the defender, in between Blint and Van Dijk, and Molina makes the finish assured.
Yeah, it really is. It's just an incredible pass. He doesn't look, try to watch the eyes, he's still looking, he's looking the other way, and and he's just got at the corner of his eye, everything's out of his periphery, and he just squeezes it at the very, very last second. Van Dijk tries to nudge him. If you'd have brought him down, he's given a penalty away. He's done the best he can, Virgil van Dijk. Noppert likewise, but 35 minutes in, Lionel Messi shows why he's regarded as one of the best ever. To some, he is the best ever. It is passes like that put it into question just what he could do. I mean, just exquisite. And fair play to Molina, because he started all that. Because he got the ball on the right wing and thought, I'm a little bored here, there's not much for me to do, let me try and create something, let me try and see if I can do something. It was just a bit of a bulldozer look inside, and then the opportunity was put on the plate for him, but he's still got tears in his eyes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what a stage to score your first goal on. It's one of those, when you haven't scored a goal for your nation before, it can be, you might look at a situation like that and go, oh, I'm never going to run here, I'm not going to get the ball, I'm not going to be able to score in the end, I've never done it before, why is it going to happen again? But he's just gone for it, it's free will, he's just bombed forward. It's a brilliant run as well, because he's picked up a great space, he's on the back of the right defender to allow the ball to come in front of him, as opposed to the ball coming behind him. And it's, I mean, there's been lots of partnerships in the past up front. Of course, my dad telling me as he was a Liverpool fan, saying Dalglish and Rush. Dalglish used to say, you just run, son, I'm going to find you. And Messi's almost done that, hasn't he? He's just said to Molina, you run, young lad, I'm going to find you in the best possible spot.
Yeah, obviously Alvarez staying central as well. He was occupied, so just joining his Netherlands nil, Argentina 1, 36.5 minutes gone. Very visible, emotional fans in the Argentina end, or the sections of Argentina fans. It's quite mixed zone to the World Cups. The ball is fired full. Players on the ground in Argentinian colours, perhaps a head injury here. The referee does realise that and stops it. And in midfield, we have a player down. I'm sure Mr. Paul is hit the dead. We've got a lot of titles, and he is one of the midfielders that has the most. A head injury can take no risk. I think it's a good chance for Netherlands to just save an 8-minute assessment of what's left in this first half.
Yeah, absolutely. They could do with getting something back before the half-time break. I mean, it's not the goalless clashes of 2006 and 2014. There were a couple of goals within 20 minutes in the 1998 game between these two, but yeah, I mean, these Argentina fans are all around the stadium. They're right behind their side, and it looks like Rodrigo de Paul will be okay to continue in this game. And it was almost a 5-minute spell just before the goal that the Netherlands were coming back into the game, wasn't it? They started to play a bit more in the Argentine territory, and then the sucker punch comes, and it can be so disheartening. But Louis van Gaal, he's so experienced. If it's 1-0 at half-time, he'll still fancy his team's chances to get back in this game. It's only one goal behind. Take it to extra time, be solid. Anything can happen in a game of football.
Yeah, that is absolutely on the money. Anything can happen. The ball is laid forward again by Molina. So into the final 7 minutes, the game back underway. Here is Fernandes in midfield for Argentina. Just having that first goal sets the game alive a little bit. Ball forward towards Aquino, plenty of space for him to run onto it. He's got no idea there that he's being watched by Dumfries, who comes back to pressurise him and just nudges him off the ball. But they need the Bergwijns, they need the Depay's, Gakpo's, someone to create. I mean, De Jong's had a few touches, but not enough, I don't think, in good areas to threaten. He now wants someone to make up forward, but he's had to play chess pretty much with the Argentinian defence. And he's luring them out before he then moves himself forward. Here's Bergwijn out towards left, so that was Depay, out towards the left at Ake. Here is De Jong, just try to keep the Netherlands ticking over. Vital for them that this is 1-0 at best, or at worst, sorry, at half-time. Gives them something to pull.
Yeah, absolutely, and if they can dominate the possession in these final stages, then that will build confidence as well, just as I say, that give it away.
Yeah, Alvarez forward to Messi, Messi rolls the wall, he's still being pressurised by Ake, turns, goes for goal, somehow gets the shot away. The close control, the zip off the surface, the body movement, one way, then again, twisting, turning, shot goes in.
I don't know whether he's doing it on purpose, but he's always on Nathan Ake, isn't he? Every single time he's backing into him, he's luring him around, he's giving himself those 2 yards, and Ake doesn't know whether to stay or go. And to be fair to him, how do you know what to do against the likes of Leo Messi? And you don't expect him to hit it on his right foot, but that confidence that he's got throughout his career of scoring some wondrous goals with that right foot, he just puts it on there and just swings at it. It could have gone anywhere. Thankfully for Netherlands, it went down the goalkeeper's throat.
Gakpo is fouled on the edge of the box. Argentina can see the free kick, clumsy really, from Fernandes. Just tried to go round the outside. Gakpo ball was coming the other way, so a clumsy free kick to give away. The Netherlands will have a set piece that they can try and take.
It's got to go in the box, hasn't it, this one? I mean, the previous corner was taken short and the cross hit the first man. This one has to go in the middle for Van Dijk and Timber, and who else to attack?
Yeah, Gakpo puts the ball down, he sets himself, the sweat dripping down the neck of what I'm sure is a warm evening in Qatar. The Netherlands 0, Argentina 1. Around 25 yards out, the ball trying to organise. Van Dijk is currently pushed offside by an Argentina player. What can he do? It's Romero that is going to try and stand up to him. Two warriors of their respective defences. So Gakpo puts the arms aloft. Blind is the one that actually steps over it. Gakpo now floats the ball in. Players going down for both teams. Free kick to Argentina and a push by he's certainly pushing and shoving. I thought it was a bit of a dive. He flies up in the air, his body's everywhere. The free kick is given to Argentina.
I think it may be Virgil van Dijk on Rodrigo de Paul in the middle, and yeah, there is a Netherlands man that lands on the lower back, isn't there? I saw one there, but I was just thinking Daley Blind ran over the ball at the set piece, and if Cody Gakpo stood over it and he's not going to hit it, why is he not in the box? All 6'4" of him. He scored a header against Ecuador earlier in the competition from a set piece similar to that, but from the other side. But nonetheless, the Netherlands threw the bodies at it, but just couldn't win that first header.
Yeah, certainly was the case. As you say, Matt, the ball is now fired forward by Martinez, who gives the ball away. It's a loose pass. Here now is Timber, the defence to Van Dijk. Netherlands score across towards Nathanaki. Nathanaki himself will take a touch and go backwards towards Noppert. Noppert instead throws the ball forward. It's over the halfway line. Here now is Otamendi, chested into the air by Argentina's Molina, the goal scorer of tonight's only goal. And there's been fine margins, but I don't think I mentioned Martinez making so on that respect, I've seen Knockout make a few. The team that's in the league deserve.
Yeah, I've got one notable chance written down for the Netherlands, and that was the Bergwijn left-footed shot where he thought it might have gone in even though it was 10 yards wide. I think that's the only opportunity they've really kind of created in this first half, and as you say, it is fine margins. It's asking for a poor mistake or a piece of quality, and it's come via Messi, hasn't it, that pass?
Yeah, Scaloni is on the touchline. Yellow card's coming out here for somebody. He doesn't have to walk in right close to the touchline here. It is for Timber. I'm guessing it's the reaction to the challenge, but his teammate in Dumfries has had the back of the ankle chopped. It's a really sore one. And Timber then pushed Acuna over. And the referee said it's a yellow card for the incident. So no nonsense. Dumfries, by the way, is still down. The referee has yet to let the physios come on. Really poor officiating. And he's in absolute agony. I mean, that's awful for Matteo Alves.
Yeah, he's got caught.
The next match,
Yeah, he's been caught up in the emotion a little bit too much there, the referee, hasn't he? It was a sore when you see the replay. There's studs on the Achilles and it then flicks off, and that is a real sore one for Dumfries. You could see it straight away. There's just no need for the two in Timber and Acuna to push each other. I think Acuna was trying to get the ball and stop the play, wasn't he? He has now picked up a yellow card, as has Timber, and Dumfries finally receiving some treatment.
Regardless of his injuries and his current scoreline, the coaching staff physically trying to get certain players ready. Some look more ready than others, perhaps suggesting a half-time change. Dumfries, the good news, the Netherlands is on his feet, making his way into the box. Teaches enough that he's allowed to stay on. But he awaits the situation. Zela Hus is following Dumfries. Gakpo, Van Dijk, a few others going to try and attack this man. Gakpo is taking it again, looping ball to the far post. It's cleared away. Nobody for Argentina under that much pressure, and Romero headed it. Now De Paul smashed it to the Netherlands, and Argentina won. Shake of the head though from that.
Crucial header, wasn't it, from Romero? Van Dijk is steaming in at the far post and he's unmarked. If Romero doesn't touch that one, then a free header. It looks like a handball there to me, Tom.
Yeah, Romero, yellow card straight away. And I've seen some fine volleyball finishes that have not been as good as that from Romero. Batted it into the floor.
Yeah, he was bringing the hand of God back to football, wasn't he, and put that one in a defensive position, and really no real need to do so. It hits his head, and then he as you say, just fist bumps the ball away, and he's put his team in a really dangerous position once again. Gakpo's over it once again. This is exactly the same position he scored against Ecuador, but final minute of the first half, and another great chance for the Netherlands.
Yeah, Gakpo looks looks over the set piece, then he's trying to pick out Ake, you've got Van Dijk, and Daru's no slouch in the air. Gakpo again, curling ball in towards Van Dijk, just at last second curled away into the hands of Emiliano Martinez as the 45-minute ticked by, and it's just going to go.
I think Van Dijk can attack that better. I'm not sure whether he's still going to get there, but he can certainly attack it. Ake is saying that he was pulled down for a penalty, a little bit soft for me. There were certainly hands on his torso, but nothing really in terms of a pull of the shirt or a push. In fact, I think Argentina themselves may have won a free kick here, and 5 minutes of added time we're going to have, Tom.
Incidents. Walter Samuel getting a yellow card as a coaching member of Argentina. For now, nice assist from Molina. The difference between the two teams, 5 minutes left. Whether we're going to that keep, we have played minutes of it. Rodrigo de Paul awaits Martinez's goal kick, which is outside the box. Kicks the ball forwards towards Nobler to get straight to. So not the best pass out from the back. What do the Netherlands need to do, Matt, if they're going to get back level at least? It's been a vintage display. They've not been terrible, but certainly not on the races compared to their opponents.
Yeah, Bergwijn and Depay have just not been active enough in the midfield areas, have they? I mean, De Jong and Darun have been a little bit isolated at times against those three in the middle of the park for Argentina. They have to dominate possession at least at a minimum and build some confidence from that and allow Dumfries to come forward down this right-hand side, because he's had some joy against Acuna, and Acuna has a yellow card now as well. They're just not getting the ball high enough up the field.
Yeah, they're not. As Alvarez's little foul and a little kick out. Yellow card coming here from Taylor Hawes. It's another one. I know there's another member of the coaching team, opposite side this time. I mean, he's becoming a bit card happy now. I mean, he always has been. But it's anyone that demonstrates anything against the official. Weghorst is now carded. So if anyone shows frustration at what's happening, yellow card.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? I think he and Luke de Jong on the sidelines just laughing at each other at this refereeing performance. Di Maria, incidentally, the one that started all this off, didn't get a yellow card. And he was the first one to remonstrate towards the referee, and then as soon as Walter Samuel did, he's opened the floodgates, hasn't he, the ref?
Yeah, it's just, no, I did say he had no nonsense approach, but this is bad for Lopez as ball forward towards Gakpo, who just flicks it on into the hands of Emiliano Martinez. Far too strong, I thought he would have brought that down.
Yeah, potentially, absolutely. He could have chested it down. He had Bergwijn in the middle of the box as well. He puts his hands up in frustration. He's jumping up. He's turned to look to the ball, and therefore he can't backtrack once he's done so, even though the ball's in midair. And as you say, he didn't really have the space to take it down in the end. But it's been a frustrating half, and I'm sure Louis van Gaal will be having a word with his side, but be filling them with confidence, because it's not as if Argentina have completely dominated this game.
No, it isn't. It's the free kick being given against Argentina. So the right throw the ball down in frustration. Best way to now realise to tell Depay and Bergwijn apart, and they keep standing next to each other. Depay's got too much team. And Depay's off a sweat. I think Bergwijn's missed it. But they're so close in proximity at times tonight for the Netherlands that you think to yourself, can that be better? What about a change in approach? Will they go Weghorst, De Jong, or a battering ram approach? The main thing is they've got to try and get the best out of Bergwijn and Depay before the game ends. So before they ditch that game plan, at least find a way to make it work. And in this first half, it just simply hasn't.
Or put Gakpo up top and put a midfielder in, the likes of Klaassen, who of course has made way in this game for Bergwijn, so he could be a man. Xavi Simons, the youngster, he could come onto the field. Of course, then there's the two big strikers as well, or maybe even a fullback change down the left-hand side. Malassi is a bit more wanting to go forward, isn't he, than Daley Blind, but of course the experience of Blind going into this game is a huge factor as well. So maybe a change. I think he might give it 10 minutes or so.
Messi goes to ground near halfway. Referee says nothing and tells him to get to his feet as Van Dijk scoops it up over the trailing leg of Alvarez. Here is Timber racing forward over halfway. Strong touch gets him in an attacking position. Played back inside to De Jong. De Jong goes forward in towards Bergwijn. Now to Depay. Slowing it down a little bit. The Netherlands have to try and go through the gears here towards Blind, towards Depay, towards you, and it's a really poor attempt. That's a bad person. You're also improving. I thought he just threw himself to the floor.
Yeah, I think both he, Daley Blind, and the defender in Molina knew what was going to happen there. As soon as he plays the ball inside, he wants to run down the line. but he's not the quickest, Daley Blind, and therefore perhaps buys a little bit of it against Molina. But I also think Molina knows what he's doing, so maybe 6 and 2 threes.
End to the half there, because that, if they get in behind, that's one crossing opportunity. What could have been is the thing that Daley Blind is thinking. The Netherlands sit and bide their time. They will feel for the second half performance. Argentina currently leading by a goal to nil thanks to the effort from Molina. Messi's scintillating through ball gets it on the front foot before firing in. As now Dumfries gets the ball in his hands. Depay looks on frustrated. Bergwijn looks on frustrated. Gakpo's been a bit more upbeat, but we have to do more as the Pirates are thick on heading. We are into the 51st minute, by the way, the 6th minute of stoppage time. Because of the conflict stoppages, the extra crowd to Veghorst might even go into 7 minutes as Alexandro Martinez clears down the line looking for Alvarez. It hits him on the back. It took on his more problems for the Netherlands than anything else, but there is the half-time whistle. So Argentina lead by a goal to nil. Alvarez, very frustrated figure up top for Argentina, but deep down will be delighted. Argentina lead by a goal to nil. Join us soon for second half coverage.
Half-time at the Lusail Stadium, and it's the Netherlands 0, Argentina 1. It's been a rather slow chess game in the first half, but for a little bit of magic from a little magician. Leo Messi picking up the ball in the midfield, dropping his shoulder about 5 times, seeing Nathan Ake give him the little space that he needed with a beautiful cutback. He found Manuel Molina chasing into the box and then tucked home with his outside of his right boot for his first Argentina goal. Netherlands 0, Argentina 1 at the break. Leave that one there as we're underway in the second half of this FIFA World Cup quarter-final. Netherlands 0, Argentina 1 is the scoreline. Independent, unofficial, off-tube studio commentary coming your way of this clash, which will certainly bring up some interesting action in the second half. You can guarantee it in a World Cup quarter-final like this. Two heavyweights are the teams tonight, Netherlands and Argentina, two sides that know each other well. And it's been a very even game in this one, but for a little bit of magic from Leo Messi in that first half, as he found Molina in the right-hand side of the right-hand channel, should I say, inside the Netherlands box. And that was the only real piece of quality in the first half, and it created the all-important goal. There have been a couple of changes. This evening, Louis van Gaal going straight to the bench early on. Too much of a surprise given the way his team played in the first half. The first is Koopmeiners has come on in the middle of the park for Martin de Roon. The second is Steven Berghuis of Ajax. He's come on for Steven Bergwijn as Argentina have the ball on the edge of the Netherlands box, whipped out to the left-hand side. Messi finds Acuna looking to whip the ball into the box. Deflected out, and it will be a corner kick early in this second half. A quick start to the half from Argentina as they look to break forward to try and make it to the advantage. As over on the far side, looks as though Messi is going to go out there to take this one. 4 men in the box, including Nicolas Otamendi. Messi eventually puts the ball down. You'll expect this to be slowed down at times by Argentina as they look to hold this lead. Messi eventually going to come with an outswinging left boot. Eventually does do just that. Whipped into the near post, flicked on by an Argentina head, but Martinez couldn't then get there at the far post, but he will pick up the ball now on the right flank. Drops it back into the feet of Enzo Fernandez up against Frenkie de Jong. Two men up against each other in central midfield this evening. Goes all the way to the byline. Fernandez perhaps slowing down time and play already. Looks to drive down the touchline, easily shielded out of play there by Frenkie de Jong. Great work by the Barcelona midfielder. And a little bit of youth and naivety there from Enzo Fernandez, thinking that he was going to get the space to whip that one into the box. Koopmeiners has gone alongside Frenkie de Jong in the middle of the park. Berghuis is just dropping off both Memphis Depay and Cody Gakpo. So that's Gakpo going for the 10 up front now. Of course, came into the lineup for Davy Klaassen this evening in the only change. Did Bergwijn in for Klaassen, should I say. That dropped in Gakpo. Memphis Depay just winning a free kick on the near side against Christian Romero.